Today we'll be talking to you about our business, interactive clinical staffing. As we go through this presentation, you may hear me refer to this to interactive clinical staffing as ICS. Just know that that is what I'm talking about is this abbreviation for our company. And so let's go ahead and get started. Clinical staffing is a talent acquisition firm that specializes in locating premier research personnel to improve our clients' productivity and improve the products and services that are produced by these clients. Operations for interactive clinical staffing will begin on January 1st of 2016 and will be located in the greater Charlotte area. The service area for ICS will include the Mid-Atlantic region that consists of North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. The staffing solutions provided by ICS are desirable because it takes the burden of finding the quality staff for the company away from the company and puts the burden on ICS. Additionally, companies will see other benefits, including the reduction of payroll. But by utilizing a variety of methods to recruit talent, including the internet and job fairs and face to face meetings, ICS will be able to offer clients staffing solutions that will in turn make their respective companies more profitable by reducing costs and increasing efficiency. Moving on, we'll be talking about the features and benefits that's offered by ICS. Research and development is a major job sector in the states of North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. The thriving job market in this area has increased the demand of quality employees and reduced the available job pools of qualified applicants. The staffing services provided by ICS will reduce the burden of acquiring this talent from companies and allow them to focus on what they excel at. The services offered by ICS offer companies the ability to reduce fixed costs with the reduction of the human resources department. Additionally, the companies will enjoy staffing payroll expenses with the responsibility of insurance and taxes of the staffed employees being shipped to ICS. Other benefits that will be enjoyed by our clients that you can be seen on this graph here. Some features uh, that are offered is contingency based on services, scalable, specialized and niche expertise, regional focus, guaranteed services, and transparent communication. And the benefits on the right, you can see them flexibility for clients, um, only meeting the employees during high growth periods without having to hire a large internal recruitment staff. Our client has a resource who understands and has a deep network within the industry's talent circles, geographical match to each client and their operational landscape. Each hire is guaranteed the first 90 days, risk free hire, which is one of our big selling points. And client receives regular progress updates on each search. When a client utilizes the services of ICS, companies are reducing the risk of employing unqualified individuals due to the rigorous pre screening efforts of interactive clinical staffing. In addition to the pre screening of ICS, as you see here in one of the benefits under the guaranteed services, we do have a guarantee of 90 days from the time of hire. If somehow a, a client gets past our pre-screening and does not do their job efficiently, then we will be responsible for that. Moving on, we'll be talking about the benefits to the region. And so over the previous 5 years, the staffing industry has experienced a growth rate annually of over 3%, and this trend is projected to continue with revenue projected to grow at 2.6% annually for the next 5 years. 6.6% of all job placement nationally took place in the service area of ICS in 2014. The service area also includes North Carolina, which has one of the highest number of research and development jobs nationally, and South Carolina, which has one of the fastest growing segments of research and development jobs nationally. The favorable hiring conditions in this area, in addition to increasing profits for staffing companies, and this region makes this an ideal market for ICS to service and expand in. In addition to having a favorable job environment, North Carolina is also the home of the Research Triangle. The Research Triangle is focused around the Durham area, and this area produces large amount of qualified applicants from a large number of universities in the area. These colleges include, but are not limited to, the following: which is UNC Chapel Hill, Duke, Wake Forest, and NC State. Moving on, we'll see the research and development spending by clinical companies. The competition in this sector is fierce because so many of these companies invest such large sums of capital into the revenue budget, up to 20% of their yearly revenues. A target behavior for our target market is one that is driven by the quality of the employee and enriching the lives of people, not the cost. Clinical companies spend close to 20% of their annual budget on research and development to improve the products that they supply to the public. And you can see that in this graph below. Next, we'll be looking at the direct competition. ICS will be competing against direct competition from other staffing companies in the region, such as Aerotech, BlueStaff, and Kelly Services. In addition, indirect competitors such as Monster.com and LinkedIn are in the marketplace as well. The flat fee model utilized by ICS will be instrumental in developing these long-term client relationships. In order to attract clients, ICS will be utilizing many different types of advertising, including industry-specific publications, social media, company website, LinkedIn, and more traditional methods such as trade shows, college and job fairs, and face-to-face meetings, which we talked about earlier. Next, we'll be looking at the pricing strategy for interactive clinical staffing. The goal of our pricing strategy is to encourage long-term relationships with our clients. We want people to continue buying into our product. And so interactive clinical staffing short-term pricing is the industry standard, which is 20 to 25% of employees' first year salary. So interactive clinical staffing long-term strategy is to offer a reduced rate contingent upon the client entering into a long-term arrangement. So for each position filled through our company, interactive clinical staffing will charge 25% of the employee's annual salary. If the company is retained as a sole staffing solution for clinical research positions for the period of no less than 3 years, the rate will be reduced to 20% of each employee's first year salary that is hired. So just an example to show exactly how our pricing is. If we place someone who is making $100,000 a year in a company, then we will require $25,000 for the placement of that employee. If a company will have multiple employees placed and over a long period of time, and so they continue to have employees placed in their companies, then there will be a lower rate established, and that is and so that we can engage relationships with those other companies. Moving on, we're looking at the valuation report. Here you see from year 0 to year 5 and our projections for what we believe that we'll make in sales and our operating costs, taxes, net investment, and change in working capital, as well as our free cash flow. As you can see, we believe that we'll make quite a lot of sales through year 0 to year 5, increasing each year. We also have a very high operating cost, but overall, at the end of each year, we have a positive free cash flow, which we can reinvest back into the company. Moving on to our income statement, our projected income statement. You can see here we have 2016, 17, and 18, and what we project that we will have for the company in our net sales, cost of goods or services sold, gross income, and our operating expenses. You can see that each of these are broken down into different operating expenses as marketing, CEO salary, the sales manager salary, recruitment manager salary, operations manager salary, administrative assistant salary, employee benefits, rent, telephone, office equipment, office supplies, postage, insurance, and professional fees. And then underneath that, you can see our total operation expenses, which is just those added up. Our net operating income, pre-tax earnings, and net taxable income. And so that's just laid out for all 3 years. You can see what we project that our company will be doing in 2016 through 2018. Next, we'll be looking at the income projections. Projected first year net earnings are $55,496. Second year projected net earnings are $104,942. Projected third year net uh, revenues are $132,041. And the amount of initial capital needed to fund ICS is $62,000. So ICS is a Type S company, and four principal owners will be responsible for 25% of the funding. Each owner will have 25% of ownership of the company. Stock will not be issued for the company to outside investors, only to the four original owners. To assist with the growth and development of the company, and the advisory committee of industry experts will be retained to help advise on current progress of the company. And initially, the board of directors will consist of the four owners. However, additional members may be recruited in the future from an advisory committee. And lastly, we have our management team that we'll take a look at. We have Jennifer Dunleavy, who is our Chief Executive Officer. She administrates the company's daily operations. She ensues activities are in accordance to law, and she develops a general vision to create company value. Our sales manager is Jesse Harkins. He manages sales of the company's services and ensues growth in sales revenues throughout planning and deployment and management of sales personnel. Next, we have Joshua Fell, who is our recruitment manager. He manages and maintains the recruitment process to find and retain new talent. He explores the best practices and permanent placement and implements these procedures for the company. And then lastly, we have Robert Props, who is our operations manager. He's responsible for organizing office operations and achieving financial objectives by preparing an annual budget, scheduling expenditures, and initiating corrective actions. We thank you so much for listening to us today, and thank you.